Hey, 8th graders. This is one of my last recordings for our Zoom classes. I'm down here in, turn the music down a little bit. I'm down here in Lower Royalton. If you're from town, you call it Royalton, not Royalton. And there's a difference. If you know somebody who lives in Royalton, you're supposed to say upper or lower when they say they're from it. Okay, right now I'm in Lower, and what makes it Lower Royalton is right over there. I'm pointing. Thank you, camera lady. Okay, that is the railroad tracks, Pennsylvania Railroad, or the Amtrak as we call it today. And I'm actually going to go underneath the road tracks to Upper Royalton. Okay, and now that bridge there, clean off my windshield wipers, it's kind of dusty out today. That bridge right there supposedly is haunted. So someday when you're old enough and you come out here late at night, you can hear people, or sometimes you see orbs at this train bridge. And that will be like another podcast I might do some other time, or video about the haunted places in Middletown. Well, look it up. Some people call it the Devil Bridge. Now we're going underneath here. We're going underneath the Pennsylvania Railroad. A little background music, Metallica. And now we're at Upper Royalton. Is that exciting? Now this, I don't know the owner of this farm here. They supposedly actually have world-class cattle here at one time. I see some in the background. They ship all around the world, and that's what I've been told. But now we're in Upper Royalton, and we're going to come down, and we're going to try to get all the way through here. Not a lot of people come through this way, but there's some of the cattle. It looks like they're doing dairy farming over there. You got that there? Good. Focusing on it. Cows, Georgie. Okay. Now driving through here. Normally most people would go through here. It is a public road in the sense of right of way. So this is actually going to take me out to above Royalton, where there used to be a brickyard. And long time ago, when Mr. Britcher was a little kid, he used to go play in the brickyard with his bicycle and friends and that. And now there's a bunch of houses built there. And some of you guys may live there now. So here we go. And we're coming through. And hopefully the road's not blocked. We'll go through. You see the farmer has his crops in the ground over there. Crops in the ground, George. And there's spring wheat ready to be harvested. And now we're going to come out to Guyers Church Road. Okay, and we're going to take a left here on Guyers Church Road. And now we're going to go to one of the cemeteries here in Upper Royalton that nobody knows about. So here we go. And we're driving down. Now, here's where I was talking about the brickyard. It's called Running Bond Drive. All that area used to be a quarry for clay. If you dig down, you notice a lot of clay in the ground, which is red. Used to make bricks, throughout the mid-state here, famous brickyard. And depending on which way I go, we'll come down through that. It's at the bridge right by Huffer Park. That's where the brickyard is. Now, what we're doing is we're coming up and approaching a cemetery that nobody recollects anymore. And see if we can find it here. Right by the mailbox. There we go. Now we're at Dock and Shipping Street. Okay, and here we go. This plot of land by this mailbox used to be a cemetery. So, used to have a church here, built here, but they moved the church, and this plot of land is a cemetery. Used to be able to have some tombstones here. Can you guys see it? George? Yeah. Let me turn that radio off. Sorry about that, guys. So right here, church was built. And rumor had it, or as legend would have it, was built by runaway slaves back in the early 1800s. And they moved to church. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you to that church. They took it down board by board, and they moved it over to Middletown. And that's where we're going to go right now. So come on, let's go take a drive, and let's go take a look at that church. But there we go. Shipping and Dock Street is where there's a graveyard right there, and there's bodies buried under there. Okay, we're going to take a left here. We're going to go over the bridge. And as I said, we're in Upper Royalton, or Royalton, as you folks would say. And I'd like to thank my daughter for go ahead and oh, Teen Albin's over here now. the wrestling team is over here in part of the church. I wonder if it's still a church. I don't know. It doesn't look like it. It looks like he bought a church. That's awesome. Good for you, Team Now Men Wrestling. So, here we are in Upper Royalton here. People wearing their face masks still. Today it is Wednesday. I'm recording today early because it's supposed to rain tomorrow, and I like to get it in before I get all my chores in today. Keep turning those papers in, guys. Okay, there's a squirrel there, and it looks like it's going to be trash day here. Ooh, and there's another squirrel. I think that squirrel's name was Susie. I saw Sammy up around the corner, but I don't think you guys got that. Now, let's see. Do I want to go down? Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to go. Let's take it. Now, we're going over this one bridge here. Now, we're going over top the Pennsylvania Railroad or Amtrak. And the name of the bridge, this bridge has been out for, oh my God, it's named by Judy Oxenford. She was instrumental in getting this bridge rebuilt. But one time, Royalton was cut off from each other. Lower and Upper Royalton were not accessible, but because the bridge was out. And it took years and years to get the state to get off their behinds and get it done properly. Okay, so now we're here on, now this is 441. If you take a left, Georgie, if you take, that's your right, take a left, you're going to end up in Columbia, where the Pennsylvania Canal went. If you take a right, you end up in Middletown, up there. There's Judge Judy's offices over there. Hopefully you guys never have to go there for anything. And now we're going to go over that. Now, see that bridge over there? I talked about it many times before. The Pennsylvania Union Canal used to come over that bridge. It was called the Aqueduct Bridge. And I know I've been talking about a bunch of canal stuff. You're like, what the canal stuff, Mr. Britcher? But that's all right. But here we're coming up here, and at one time boats would actually cross over the river. And I just think that's kind of cool. Now the bridge is no longer here. They rebuilt the bridge, and it's been built for probably a good 20, 30 years. Okay, I don't think that's my stop sign. But George, if you can, when we're going over across the bridge to your right, could you film the Swatara Creek? And as you guys probably know, Swatara Creek means where we eat eels. Okay, where we eat eels is the name of Swatara Creek. That's how you would say it in Algonquin, I think. Okay, we got some linemen here working hard, getting you guys cable TV. Now I'm going to take a left here, and I'm going to work my way back to that church I talked to you about, how they pulled it down. It was built by runaway slaves, and it's over here. But what I want to do is I'm going to show you some old earthworks, if you will, of the Pennsylvania Canal. If you're ever down here, you'll be like, what the heck was there? Well, let me tell you what the heck was there. Okay, now if my daughter would start filming to the right, okay, not okay, George. Try to get the side right there. There you go. Now, so see this house right here with the big bank? Well, that bank was purposely done there because that was part of the Pennsylvania Canal. That and Union Canal. That was a basin. Okay. You see the hills and that. Some things are knocked down, but see that little stonework over there? That was part of the intake of that. Now we're going to get up here, and you guys can further see it, and that's where canal boats would be, you know, floating right here, down the street here, in Middletown, right here by Spore Street. And we're coming up here, and coming up here, and all these guys' backyards were all part of the Pennsylvania Canal. I'm going to take a little turn here and go out on my, if you can see where those boats are. Where those boats are, right there, boat trailers are at. That's where the canal was. Now I went a little further over here. I'm gonna have to go down and hit that church for you guys. So we're going down here, and I'll point out a little historical building here. Now this, when I was growing up, I know Mr. Britcher a long time ago, where it says class 20,000. This building used to be a school building. Okay, then they turned it into the VFW, which is now across the street. They have a new building, and now I believe it's apartment complexes. Okay, so this used to be an old school building here, and we'll go through there, and let's take a left on Pike Street. Okay, here we go, and let's go to that church I was talking about here. Now, take a look at Georgia. Can you film those fields right there? A lot of you guys come down here. You have sports down here. If you ever played Pee Wee football and that. Now, at one time, these houses, there was hundreds of houses here. But now they're all gone. Well, not all gone. You see some anyhow. But during the 72 flood, when I was a little kid, the waters were, and George, if you can point to that second house, the White House with the kind of green shutters.
Yeah. The
flood waters, guys, was as high as that second floor window. That's how big the 72 flood was. It was called a 200-year flood. And a lot of houses were not able to survive that. And that's in 1972. Middletown's had a lot of floods in this time period. Some recent, years ago, ice floods, regular floods, and I remember that flood when I was a little kid, because when it happened, when they had the flood, I was like in, I don't know, maybe 3rd or 4th grade, and I lived on Emaw Street, right by the police station, and I remember waking up and when I was a little kid, and there was all kinds of furniture in my bedroom, because my parents were moving all the furniture off to the first floor and moving up to the second floor. We had to move out, and we were evacuated. Now take a look to the right here. That's what I'm talking about. Now this is you can see the different walls and that. If you can imagine 150 years ago, this would be all, we'd be in water right now, but now we're not. Now over here to our left, here's a church. That church originally built by runaway slaves in Upper Royalton. We just showed you a grassy plot where there was a cemetery, and the cemetery is no longer there. We used to take history tours, but unfortunately we can't do that anymore in school. But maybe we can next year. Sorry guys, but here we go. This church is still operating, and it's can you read the name of the church, George? I'm sorry.
First Baptist.
Yeah, First Baptist Church. Yeah, there we go. So, and it's kind of unique. When you walk in there's like a big rope you can pull and ring the bell. It's always kind of fun. And there's more canal works over here. But that church, again, let's go back to the church. Originally built early, beginning of the century of like 1810s and that. We'll have to go take a look at that. But originally built by runaway slaves and then moved over here to a more suitable area, I guess, in Middletown. But kind of unique. Okay, so I tell you what. Now I don't
First
know
Zion Baptist.
First Zion Baptist Church. I'm sorry about that. I made a mistake there. And there we got the property there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take you to another cemetery where I know where there's African American Civil War soldiers buried. It's kind of like a back alley. Mr. Lodo and I, when we used to do our research and all that, we we read papers from the Historical Society. We found this thing out, and here we're on Catherine Street. We're going to go up Market, and we went to this backyard, and kind of anyhow, we went to the backyard, and there actually at one time there was a tombstone still. There was actually a couple. We took pictures of it. We had pictures back at school in our files and that. I can't really show it to you because it's back at school. Okay, now if I get this right, now if you see that green truck, that building right there used to be a school and church, and now it's a home. At one time in the 1870s, it was an African American school. Later on, and that's before we had Middletown Area School District, and that it wasn't founded until I think the 1790s. And when it was, we actually combined classes with blacks and white students. We didn't really segregate, but in 1870 it was segregated in a sense of everybody had their little school buildings and that, and the majority of people living down there, I guess, were African American. So that was an African American school, and later turned into a church. So churches, you have cemeteries. Now this is a house, and we're going to go to the backyard here. We're on Market and South Wood Street in Middletown. So here we go. What time are we at, George?
14:29.
Okay, so yeah, guys, talking your ear off here a little bit, and now we're going to turn up a road called Russell Avenue, named after probably somebody named Russell. Okay, so here we go. See where the Watch Children sign is? I think if I get it right, it's been a while since I've been back here, and here we go. Now, we took pictures of the tombstones. I have no longer what happened to them. They were tombstones from the federal government for Civil War soldiers and recognized them. But as you can see, the tombstones are no longer here. No fault to the homeowner right now. This is like, 15, 20 years ago. They were probably laid off to the side, and goodness knows what happened to them. But right now, in his backyard, there's bodies buried, and definitely American Civil War soldiers, African American soldiers, were buried here. Now, you're like, why buried here? Well, we might not have segregated the schools in Middletown, but they did segregate the cemeteries. Okay, and it is what it is, and that's back in the way back when it's they didn't bury the African Americans in the white cemetery. It's just a commentary on America. So there's, I just showed you 2 cemeteries that nobody knows about, but now you do. And if you want to go by, and now you know the story, and you know some of the legends of Middletown, some kind of interesting things to say. And I think that's probably all I'm going to have for this podcast, or I wouldn't call it a podcast, but a little video that we have, one of our last Zoom meetings. It's exciting. I have a lot of people turning things in on time, late on time. A lot of parents email me, panicking. Hey, don't worry about it. Do what you can. And turn things in and enjoy your summer. Hopefully we'll get over this whole COVID-19 pandemic. Did I say that right, George?
No.
George, how do you say it?
Pandemic.
What? Are you sure about that?
I'm positive.
Well, Mr. Britcher's never wrong. But, okay, now, where is it? Okay, here it is. Okay. Go ahead. Right here. Guys, now a lot of people, a long time ago, they built a, see that building right there? I got to move because there's a car behind me. Right there is, they dug that up about 3 or 4 years ago, and they found like an underground room. Now, a lot of people are saying, oh, that's part of the Underground Railroad. No, it wasn't Underground Railroad. Oh, look, Mr. Britcher's talking more, okay? So, what we're going to do is going to keep on filming here, and we're going to go up to where the real Underground Railroad was at, and I'm going to take it by Balkan Motors. Okay, let's go over here, and we'll go uptown. Raider Pride, I like that. Yeah, go Blue Raiders. Okay. Oh, look at all those tricycles in that. Yeah, that's like a tricycle I have in my backyard, George.
Yes, it is.
Should we get it?
No.
Okay, I'm going to embarrass my daughter. You guys can see what I'm doing right now. Look, okay, look. Are you disappointed, Georgie? Okay, Mr. Britcher, he also likes to do scrapping. He's recycling for the environment.
I apologize that you all have to hear this. And there he goes. Life with Mr. Britcher is never dull.
Okay, the bicycle I just got, it's like an old tricycle, but it's probably 1970s. It's not the old one that anyhow, I have old junk in my backyard. My wife likes to put flowers on it and all that. So here we go. Let's put a little music on. Sing along if you like. Eagles. Oh, here we go.
Ow.
Okay. Man, okay. So I thought it was going to be a short video, but it's not. Okay, film this building here, Georgie.
I am.
Very good. This used to be the Roughwear. Okay, now it's apartment complexes. It's named after my good friend Barb Lane. She was a mayor of Middletown, also a school board president. And it's and when I say Roughwear, they used to make jackets. And one of the more famous jackets that they built was I'm gonna stop right here. It's called Wood Lane, and Lane is in is Barb Lane's last name and another person named Wood that took care of that to get that going there. But Roughware, turn this music off, sorry guys. Roughware was they were a long time ago, and they used to make these bomber jackets. You ever seen like pilots in World War II? They had like the sheepskin. Are you filming me? Or okay. Sheepskin, the leather jackets, the bomber jackets. When I say bomber jackets, kind of like a stylish thing. They all came from the Roughware here in Middletown. So when you ever see like a person from World War II in a jacket that's a bomber jacket, most likely it was made in Middletown. Another unique thing, Admiral Perry, who explored the North, one of the first persons to get to the North Pole, his clothing was outfitted here from the Roughware. Another history tidbit, and it's going to be a longer history lesson than I thought, especially for the last Zoom, so you guys are probably tired with this. Guys, here's the synagogue of Middletown. Not world famous, but pretty old. Let's try to get this picture outside. B'nai Jacob, National Register of Historical Places, the Jewish temple, if you will. Oh, I got my four ways on. Where was I going, George?
I don't know.
I said I was going somewhere to go show them something. Oh, I turned too quick. Okay, so now we're going to go show the real true Underground Railroad where it was, that we know of, that we have documented proof from a preacher and that talked about it. So here we go. Let's take a, I'll tell you what, I'll just drive straight through. And I promise to stop talking so much, and we'll go live after this. Right here, it's called the Balkan Automobile Place. Can you get this, Georgie?
Yes.
Right there is a place called the 12 Points, and that's where the Underground Railroad was in Middletown, verified. So that's about it. All we have to go today. Thank you guys. You guys did a great job, and we'll highlight a little bit more. Coming up to the square of Middletown. Hopefully you guys got a little bit of history out of here. Don't be afraid to tell your friends and family what you know, little stories and legends of Middletown. Okay? Thank you, and have a good day. Okay. And